You've probably heard of Machiavelli, but do you really know what he's all about? This guy wasn't afraid to get real, even if that meant getting a little dark. If people see you as a weak leader, they'll take advantage of you. You're a ruler, and you need to convince your subjects to support you. You've got your subjects on your side, your reputation is solid, and you've successfully managed a few tricky situations. But the journey of self-improvement and understanding human nature is never truly over, is it? If you found this video insightful, I invite you to check out this video next, where we delve into more philosophies that can shape your perspective on life. Until then, keep thinking, keep growing, and above all, keep questioning. Thanks for watching. But then something changes. Maybe there's a new threat on the horizon, or the old alliances shift. What do? Well, according to Machiavelli, you adapt. You can't rely on the same strategies that worked before, because the situation has changed. You need to be willing to adjust your approach, try new things, and be open to different perspectives. Adaptability isn't just about reacting to external changes. It's also about learning and growing as a leader. Every situation is unique and requires a tailored response. Being adaptable means having the flexibility to adjust your tactics and strategies as needed. It's not easy. It takes a lot of self-awareness, maturity, and emotional intelligence, but it's essential for anyone who wants to succeed in the long run. In the intricate game of power, deception is more than just a tactic. It's a philosophy, a way of understanding the world and operating within it. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for deception for its own sake. He was offering a guide for navigating a complex world where appearances often conceal deeper realities. By mastering the art of deception, by understanding the nuances of power and persuasion, one can not only survive but thrive in the arena of politics. It's a lesson that has stood the test of time and continues to resonate in today's world. So the next time you find yourself in a game of power, remember the lessons of deception is not a dirty word. It's a tool in the hands of the skilled strategist. You could try to appeal to their sense of justice, but Machiavelli would point out that that's a risky strategy. People aren't always motivated by what's right. They're often driven by. So how do you persuade them in a way that benefits you? Well, according to Machiavelli, you need to speak their language. You need to understand what motivates them and tailor your arguments accordingly. Maybe it's appealing to their desire for power, wealth, or security. Whatever it is, you need to know how to frame your arguments in a way that resonates with them. Persuasion isn't just about saying the right things. It's about saying things at the right time in the right way. Timing is everything. Knowing when to make a certain argument or proposal is crucial. If you bring up a certain idea at the wrong time, it might be dismissed out of hand. But if you wait for the right moment and present it in the right context, it could be exactly what people are looking for. If they see you as a tyrant, they'll rise up against you. So, how do you manage that perception? According to Machiavelli, you need to be strategic. Let's say you're a new ruler and you want to build a positive reputation. You could try to be generous, just merciful. But Machiavelli would argue that those traits don't necessarily build respect. They may even be exploited by others. Instead, he suggests cultivating an image of strength, of someone who isn't afraid to make tough decisions, even if they're unpopular. It's not about being cruel or oppressive. It's about showing that you're willing to do what it takes to protect your people, even if that means making some tough calls. Reputation management isn't just about projecting an image. It's about shaping how others interact with you. If you're seen as someone who keeps their word, people will trust you and be more willing to work with you. On the other hand, if you're known as a backstabber, people will be wary of you, and that will limit your ability to get things done. Let's start with his most famous book, The Prince. Imagine you're a new ruler stepping into some big shoes. Everyone expects you to be this shining beacon of justice and virtue, right? Well, Machiavelli had some news for you. People don't care about that. They care about results. And if you want to stay in power, you need to give them what they want. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it means making hard choices, even if they're not the nice, neat ones. And sometimes it means learning how to keep your enemies close, even if it means a few white lies here and there. But if you're playing the game of power, these are the rules. You can't afford to be naive. As Machiavelli saw it, being too pure might sound good on paper. But in the real world of politics, it's a fast track to getting sidelined or worse. Now, before you label him as some kind of evil mastermind, let's get something straight. Machiavelli wasn't suggesting that everyone should go around being deceptive and manipulative. He was simply pointing out that if you're in the game of power, you better be ready to play dirty sometimes. He was basically saying, hey, let's call a spade a spade. Politics can be a cutthroat world, so you better be ready to fight fire with fire. But you're probably thinking, okay, we got it. Politics is rough, But is that really a reason to be all sneaky and stuff? And to that, Machiavelli would probably shrug and say, well, if you don't want to play dirty, then maybe you shouldn't be in this game at all. He wasn't trying to create a manual for evil rulers. He was just laying out some harsh realities. So why do some rulers manage to stay on top while others crumble under the weight of their own ideals? According to Machiavelli, it comes down to one word: deception. But before we dive into that, let's talk about why deception is like the dark matter of politics. Everyone knows it's there, but no one can quite see it. When it comes to ruling, people love to think of themselves as these noble, honest leaders. They want to believe that their word is their bond and that their promises are as solid as the mountains. But Machiavelli knew better. He saw that deception is like the oil that keeps the gears of power turning. It's the secret ingredient that helps leaders get things done without getting bogged down by their own ethics. He wasn't saying that lying and cheating were virtues, but he was pointing out that they were tools that every leader needs to have in their toolbox. It's not about using these tools all the time, but knowing when and how to use them when the situation calls for it. But why does Machiavelli put deception at the center of power? Well, because he understood human nature. We're all motivated by self-interest, and we all have a tendency to exploit others. In that cutthroat world of politics, you can't afford to be naive. You have to be ready to fight fire with fire. Otherwise you'll get burned. But here's the kicker. Machiavelli wasn't just pointing this out for the sake of being a downer. He was offering a way to thrive in this cutthroat world. Once you understand the game, you can start playing it. Deception, according to Machiavelli, isn't just about being sneaky. It's about controlling the narrative, shaping how others perceive you, and wielding that perception like a weapon. In fact, Machiavelli goes so far as to suggest that deception is a virtue when used strategically. It's not about being dishonest for the sake of it. It's about knowing when it's necessary and beneficial. For example, imagine you're a small state trying to survive in a world dominated by larger, more powerful neighbors. You could try to fight back, but that would be futile. Or you could try to negotiate, but chances are they won't take you seriously. So, what do? Machiavelli would argue that you need to deceive them. Find ways to make yourself appear larger, more powerful than you actually are. Maybe it's by building up your military, even if it's just for show. Or maybe it's by forging alliances with other small states, creating a united front that can't be ignored. By changing how others perceive you, you change your position in the game. You might not be able to match their strength, but you can certainly play with their perception of your strength. Next, let's talk about another aspect of deception: reputation management. How you're perceived by others is crucial. Now let's talk about the art of persuasion. Finally, let's discuss the role of adaptability. You're a ruler, and things are going well. And with that, our exploration of Machiavelli's teachings comes to an end.